To become a wizard is to learn how to transmute. To become a wizard. To become a wizard is to learn a pure focus. To become a wizard is to elevate your level of perception to the realm of magic. Does that make sense? To become a wizard is to master yourself, to master the elements within yourself, to be capable of alchemy. What is alchemy? It's transmuting base metals into gold, is it not? What are the base metals in your mind? What are the emotions? What are the experiences? What are the elements that you have within yourself that you can transmute into gold? Do you want to be a wizard? I want to be a wizard. And I've been trying really consistently and persistently to attain this sort of level of mastery. And what do I mean by mastery? I mean internal mastery. I mean mental mastery. I mean mastery of the self, of the mind, of the thoughts. This is the kind of mastery that turns you into a wizard. What do I mean by wizard? Wizard. What do you think by wizard? Somebody who's filled with knowledge, with understanding, with perception, who can create magic, who can make spells of nothing, of elements within himself, who can do some really cool shit, right? You imagine wizards meditating, learning magic, learning knowledge. You imagine wizards cooped up somewhere, researching and reading and learning and meditating and immersing themselves, and they're usually somewhere far off in nature where they can ponder, where they can think, why is this the way that wizards are always portrayed in like any media that's not like super pop culture or designed just to be like, you know, more appealing to the eye. Any of the traditional views on wizards and that kind of thing is always, if I had crumbs on my face, bro, I'm sorry, I just ate a cookie. But why are wizards always depicted as being old, with long beards, with meditating in nature, in a castle secluded somewhere, surrounded by books and vats and all sorts of things, and the stars embroidered in them? There's something about being a wizard that necessarily entails being introspective, being meditative, being deep in thought and in the elements and surrounded by nature and an understanding of the universe. All of these things go hand in hand with producing magic. Why? What is the act of transmutation? What is the act of alchemy within yourself? Because listen, we've never seen somebody shoot a fireball. We've seen people do a lot of crazy things, and you can't say that when you watch certain people work, when you watch certain people talk, when you watch certain people perform their music or their art or something, that it doesn't give you the feeling like it's magic. When you watch a really good movie, tell me it doesn't give you the vibe that it's magic. What do humans do? What do humans do when they create something beautiful? As we do, as we always do, as we constantly do. We're always creating things that are seemingly impossible. We have ideas and we conjure them into reality. Is that not magic? Is that not magic? To be able to imagine something and have it created and manifested in front of you. Is it not magic? To take situations, life experiences, emotions, all kinds of trials and tribulations, and turn them into things that are beautiful, that are in essence gold. Is that not alchemy? You know, is it not magic to watch an athlete? Is it not magic to watch an athlete in flow state? Is it not magic to watch a musician in flow state? Is it not the case that everything that we're surrounded by is magic? The trees, the buildings, everything was an idea. Everything was a seed or an idea, and it blossomed and it grows. The way an infant goes from a minuscule seed to a living human being with consciousness and understanding and everything. How can it all be so? And how can you create higher magic within yourself? How can you take this inherently creative and divine and magical nature that we have as humans and apply that into your life? How do you master that? To be a wizard is to master your consciousness. Because consciousness, once you come to realize it, once you really understand what consciousness is and where it lies, you realize that it's everywhere. It's in everything. Once you truly understand the nature of consciousness, you realize that it's creative in nature and that nothing exists that wasn't created from consciousness. And for us to be the only beings that we know to be conscious and creative and made in the image of God means that we are the only creatures capable of magic. And then you understand, you take that and you understand that on the larger picture. Why do spirits always come after humans? Why are we always haunted? Why is it that our subconscious and our mind and our everything is always under attack by spiritual influences? Why is that? Why is that? And really, why is it? Because you don't see animals haunted by their thoughts, you know? Like, you don't see ghosts or like spirits or anything. Like, even non-physical entities do not seem to struggle with like turmoil or anything. That seems to be a distinctly human thing, to struggle against your nature and try to be something more than that, to have this code that is written in your heart but your nature seems to defy it, to have love in your heart but violence in your hands. Does that make sense? Violence in your mind, in between your teeth. What is it about humans that make them so valuable, so sought after, that every entity, living and non-living, physical and non-physical, and living and non-living, draws itself towards humans? What is it about humans? What is it about being a person, about being alive, that makes it so you can have an idea, you can immerse yourself in a thought, in an image, and something, and it appears to you? How is it that you can have a conversation, and really think about this, about something, and then see it randomly in the street, knowing that you hadn't seen it? How is it that you can think of a person and then they suddenly appear in your life? These go beyond mere coincidences, and when you take the entire picture into account, not just the small experiences, but everything about being a human, about being alive, once you raise your level of consciousness to be able to see the entities that constantly try to interfere with your thoughts and with your life and try to move you in their direction and towards their own goals and purposes, what exactly do they serve? What exactly are they serving? Why are humans sought after in that way by entities, right? And in a sense, right, to put it quite formally, what master do they serve? Why is it that we seek love and we're moved by it, and we destroy things in the name of it, and we have it in our heart to be good, to be righteous, and yet we constantly seem to fall short of that? Why is that? What is influencing us to that degree? It's not just free will, because if we were truly free, we wouldn't be struggling with making the choices that we want to make. Something is acting on you. And really think of that. If we had free will, if we really had free will, we wouldn't be struggling with making the decisions that we want to make. We would just make them because we have free will. Why is it that good things seem to be harder than bad things? What exactly is tugging at you? Why is it said that you are born in a fallen state? What does that mean? And why is that so significant? And why is that such a core part of being alive? And what does that have to do with being a wizard? I'll tell you. All of these things are connected. the wizard, the monk, the yogic master, whatever you want to call it, the one who has achieved enlightenment, the Buddha, all of these things, Jesus Christ, although Jesus Christ is God, so that's a little bit of a different case, but not really, because they all sort of, at least to the point that I'm making now, these all point towards the same thing, which is having a control over your being that is so deep that it repels Satan, that it repels negative forces, and that allow you to do the point of this video, which is to, in a sense, become a wizard, in a sense, create magic, in a sense, do alchemy. Any depiction, and you name it, any depiction that has somebody doing things that are truly magical and unbelievable. You take Neo from the Matrix, it's the same thing. It's this act of finally coming awake, gaining full control of yourself, and having an absolute faith that literally allows you to alter the conditions around you, to create reality for yourself, to have things come to you and move around you. It's remarkable. And so how do you do this? How do you become somebody? Like, let's take a look at the image of the wizard, and let's see how not that different it is from somebody like Christ, somebody who is deeply meditative, deeply, how do you say, self-conscious, not in an insecure self-conscious, but just conscious, deeply conscious and in control and filled with knowledge, someone who can take the elements within themselves and produce remarkable things that are considered magical. What is magic in the traditional sense, if not something along the lines of a miracle? How would something like that ever be possible? You know, and why is it that the people that can do this, that can perform magic, always sort of have the same traits? They're usually older. They usually have a level of self-control over themselves. They usually are deep meditators, deep knowledge seekers. They are teachers, but they are lifelong students. They are people who dedicate their lives to mastery of themselves and mastery of the elements within themselves so that they can alchemize. What I'm saying is this: if you want to create magic consciously, not just at the influences of the spirits that possess you when you are intoxicated, not just at the whim of your impulses, not just in the moments where divinity strikes you, but consciously and constantly, if you want to live in magic, if you want to transmute every single painful or difficult experience and turn that into love, into positivity, into growth, genuinely, to the point where your perception of the world cannot be tainted by negativity, to the point where you live exactly in alignment as you always wanted to, without difficulty, without struggle, because you've broken free from the entities, the spirits, the beings that aim to influence your subconscious and pull you towards them. You break free of that, and then you can live how you want to live, how you always wanted to live. To become conscious and to master yourself and your internal habitat, right? To be able to have such a control over yourself that you develop actual free will, not just a sleepwalking through life, not just developing in the way that you've been raised to be developed, not just a product of your environment, but in a way you can take control of your own organism and grow in the exact direction that you wish to. What an unbelievable thing. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine actualizing yourself? Can you imagine moving through the world without succumbing to negativity, to sadness, to discouragement, to pessimism, without falling into temptation or, how do you say, influence, external influence? Can you imagine moving through the world with a sense of fullness and purpose and direction? How different would that life be? And how awake are you even now in the moments that you live now? How conscious are you? How aware are you of what goes on inside of you? When you get possessed by those thoughts, when you fall into melancholy, are you sure that that's you? Are you sure that that's you? Because you should think about that. Are you sure that it's you? Those pessimistic thoughts tell me, look within yourself and tell me that you don't earnestly seek love. Look within yourself and tell me that you don't, somewhere deep inside you, earnestly seek fullness and purpose and acceptance and community and love and understanding and fullness and control over yourself. You know, and if you look within yourself and you realize these things and you really see them, tell me honestly if you really think then that your impulses to hurt, your impulses to damage, your impulses to self-destruct, are they really you, or has something been conditioned within you? Are they really you, or has that been your habitual response to the pain that you've endured that you never knew how to transmute? Are they really you? Do you know what I mean? There's much more out there. There's much more potential for you, for your life, for what you can do with yourself. And it all lies in your ability to become a young fucking wizard, nigga. Become a young wizard, bro. You need to alchemize. You need to raise your consciousness. You need to get deeper knowledge. You need to move in that direction. Constantly be fostering your inner. Try to stay awake for as long as you can. Really understand the elements within yourself. And really watch them, because as long as you watch them, your knowledge will grow. You'll start to understand things. You'll notice things. And if you continue that, you'll be able to manipulate things within yourself. You know, you'll realize just how much, and it's an unbelievable amount of what goes inside you isn't actually you. And it isn't even something that you want to be. And it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. There's so much more out there for you. To become a wizard is to become conscious. To become a wizard is to become conscious. It is to alchemize. It is to transmute your experiences. It is to direct yourself. It is to transform. It is to know. To become a wizard. You know?